and welcome back to another video. I hope you all are having a great day today. Today we are making, it's a huge recipe. It's not very complicated, but there's a lot of different pieces and I want to make sure that it's easy to follow. So I'm going to have timestamps on everything. All of those timestamps will be in the description. So let me tell you what we're making. We are making a pasta dish, so we're making homemade pasta with a vegan cream sauce and a poached egg on top. So that's why it's a little bit, there's three different things that I need to go into, and each of them probably could be their own episode, but I like this dish and I want to share it with you. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it all in this episode and it's gonna be great. It's gonna turn out great, right? So timestamps, we're gonna do part 1 and part 2 of pasta, and kind of has to be done like that because you put everything in the mixer, you start your pasta, it does its thing, mix it all together, but then it has to rest for 30 minutes, and then you come back to it, and then you can roll it and work with it and cut it into pasta noodles and all those things. So that's why there's a part 1 and a part 2, because in that middle, in that 30 minutes, I'm going to get the cream sauce going, start the water boiling, and all that fun. So part 1 and part 2 of pasta, I'm going to include timestamps right here. Making a vegan cream sauce, timestamp here. And poaching an egg, timestamp here. Those will all be in the description below while you're down there checking out timestamps if you're looking at them. Please like and subscribe, or drop me a comment telling me if you know any of this stuff, if you ever made homemade pasta, if you've ever poached an egg. Let me know. So without further ado, let's start with pasta. Let's get started. So first things first, we're going to put 2 cups of flour into our mixer, and we have our dough hook attachment on there. It's very important. So 2 cups of flour. We're going to put a tablespoon of olive oil in there. And I'm just guesstimating, I'm not measuring. And roughly a teaspoon of salt as well. Then you're going to want to crack 3 eggs into your mixer. Then you can close this and get it going. Alright, so I had on pretty high whipping all of that together. Once it's starting to look, let me leave this up so you guys can see. Once it's starting to look like this, you guys can add, I put about half a cup of water in my dry measuring cup. What I normally do at this point is I just pour a little bit in at a time, so that's probably about a third of that half, and you just want to tighten that dough up a little bit, or loosen that dough up. I'm not really certain what the right word is. We have to make a dough that is a slightly wet consistency, but it all needs to come together. Alright, so we can add a little bit more water. A little bit more water. If you add too much water, that's okay too. Not if it's swimming in water, but you can always add a little bit more flour in there and tighten it up. Alright. So that's looking good. Now we just have to let it keep turning over with the dough hook. So keep the mixer on for another 5 minutes until it gets nice and smooth. Alright, so as you can see, the dough is ready. It's nice and smooth, it's very sticky, and it's pretty wet, which is how I like it at this point. The next step is to get it off your fingers and into a greased metal or glass or plastic bowl. But the important part of that is that it's greased, because otherwise it will just stick to the bowl like it's sticking to my fingers right now. Alright, so this goes covered with saran wrap, and it's left to sit for 30 minutes. That's just so that the gluten can relax and it gets nice and stretchy again. I mean, it's already a little stretchy, but it gets stretchier. It works. Anyway, so I'm going to insert timestamp right here for when you guys can come back and see part 2, which is, rolling out and cutting the pasta into long pasta noodles. So, if you're interested in that, timestamp here. Part 2, also I'll have all this linked down in the description. That way you guys can find it easy. So I will see you back there. If not, and you're staying with me for this part of the video, please, we're going to start over here on my stovetop with my vegan cream sauce. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do to make vegan cream sauce is put a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Just a smidge. And we're just dicing the garlic up into small pieces. And we can put it into our pan. And we can turn the heat on at this point, and we can put it on to about 5, like a medium heat. Alright, so once the oil heats up, you can just give the garlic a little time to get fragrant. We don't want to cook it too much, and we don't want to burn it, because burnt garlic isn't great, but we do want to just get it warm. At that point, we can add 3 tablespoons of butter. And this is when I've had the best result adding my tablespoon of cornstarch. You can get this going like this, and it all mixed in together. It doesn't get as lumpy, or doesn't get lumpy at all, hopefully. And now we can add in 2 cups of oat milk. There we go. Alright, so you can see everything's mixing together. The steam's really starting to rise off this now. And I have a small handful of rosemary leaves. This is dried rosemary that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to put that in there. I'd say probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Rosemary is pretty strong. You don't need a lot of it. And we're just going to let this simmer. Well, and when it gets up to a simmer, we'll just let this heat itself on the stove. It's a low and slow kind of process because you want things to evaporate and thicken up, but you don't want to burn anything. Alright, so I've been stirring for a couple minutes, and it's starting to thicken up a little bit. It's just been simmering away. So now it's time to add in your mushrooms. And I'm going to start with about 1/4 cup of mushrooms, or a hefty handful, whatever you prefer. There's my hefty handful. I'm going to put those in there. Give them a little stir. There we go. And I'm going to turn down to low while the mushrooms are cooking, because I don't want it to boil, and it needs to just low and slow for a good long while. Cook those mushrooms through. You know, get all the flavors mixed together. I don't need it going anywhere or doing anything while we make the pasta. So we're back for part 2 with pasta. The sauce is simmering away back there. Actually, I took it off heat, so it's not simmering. It was simmering, now it's not. So, I floured everything. If you can see over here, pasta machine assembled, counter floured, pasta machine floured. This is very sticky dough. It sticks to everything. So, and tightening it up with flour is what we're going to do first anyway. So you're not gonna regret putting an extra bit of flour everywhere. Let's take our little dough baby out. Maybe. Come here. You're not supposed to stick. There we go. Alright. We can get him into the flour on the countertop and give him some kneads. You know your dough is proper when it feels really, really soft. Like smooth soft. Not even just like it's squishy soft. Like it's smooth. And this amount of dough, this should make about 1 pound of pasta, which feeds kind of about 4 people, unless you get really hungry people. I'm going to cut this in about thirds. There we go. There we go. So this is, I'm working with a dough ball about the size of my fist. Now, since we've used up some of the flour on our countertop, re-flour the countertop. And we're going to go over here too, and over here, and I just got a little floor. It's messy, but it's totally worth it. So we're going to squish it out a little bit flatter, so it's not in a ball shape. And the pasta machine is on its widest setting. So when we pass this through the first time, it's going to be still pretty thick. Here we go. Alright, now if you can see, I'm going to try and zoom in on this in editing so you guys can see. It's still dimpled and it doesn't look so great. So we're going to give it a fold over and go the other way. So I fold it this way and I turn it, and now it's going to go through again. And it's still dimpled, which is okay. We're going to get some flour on it now because it's starting to get a little sticky. Not too much flour, but just enough. And then we're going to give it a fold, and we're going to go put it through our machine again. Still a little dimply. Flour, fold, as we keep going with this, see, less dimples this time. We're going to flour, fold in the machine. And as we keep going, it's going to have even less and less dimples, and it's going to look smoother and smoother. And then that is the point when we finally get a nice smooth sheet of dough that we will know that it's ready for us to switch it down another level. So in the pasta machine. Fold again. In the pasta machine. There we go. So you can see the difference between this one and the other one. This one's a lot less dimply, a lot more smooth. So we're going to give it one more fold. We're going to do it one last time. There we go. And now that is perfect. We're going to give it a little flour, just a little bit, wipe off the extra. And we're going to turn our pasta machine down 1. So I've turned it down. So this is, let me go back. This is the biggest. We're going to turn it down a little bit, right to there. And we're going to pass our dough through again. So every time you pass it through, he's going to get even longer. So we're going to go and turn it down a little bit more. Feed him in. There he goes. This is one you definitely could enlist the help of a friend. It goes easier with 2 people. Because as this starts to get really long, it also starts to stick to itself, which is why flouring the countertop and always submerging your dough in flour is very beneficial, because it really wants to stick to itself. All right, give it one last one. This is the tiniest one. Then we're going to put it through one last time. This is the hardest one to do on your own, so if you're doing this for the first time, do it with a friend. Oh my goodness, my handle just fell out. It's okay, everything's okay. This isn't a problem. All right. Okay. I'm gonna take you. And go back in. We're safe to go. Gently lowering the pasta down. Okay, let's take a second here and stretch. Stretch, stretch, stretch. I don't even know how I'm going to do this with one hand. I didn't think this part through. So I'm going to kind of, there we go, drape it over my arm. Flour the countertop again. And what we're going to do is we are going to take our pasta. We're going to be gentle. We're going to put that there. Flour. I'm going to fold it back on itself. And flour. And then fold it back on itself again. So here's the beginning piece. Flour. And then fold it again, and there we go. So we have our super long dough sheet folded in fourths. And I'm going to take it and I'm actually going to fold it one more time over. There we go. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut with a very sharp knife straight down and cut off these extra bits. That way we have the chance of getting as many nice noodles as we can. All right, so here is, I'm gonna cut this little piece off too. I don't think we need him. All right, so I'm gonna pick your distance. I'm gonna make a little bit of a fatter noodle. So I'm gonna do here, and I'm gonna go straight down. Oh, there we go. And when I unravel him, hopefully, if he hasn't stuck to himself, let's double check him. Oh, look, I think we did it. Yes, one beautiful long noodle. And we're gonna cut one more again. Same, try and make them all same or similar thicknesses, or else you're gonna have a whole bunch of weird looking noodles. But I guess that's okay too. It's your party, do your thing. Oh, I think I trimmed that one a little bit. But there we go, another noodle. Alright, so our next step is getting this big pot of salted water to boil. And let's check on our cream sauce. So I have taken that off heat a little bit. We can turn the heat back on. Give it a little stir. It has thickened up nicely, and our mushrooms are looking really nice as well. They've cooked down, so I'm going to add a few more mushrooms in at this point. So we're probably up to a good cup worth of mushrooms in there. So the water's boiling. Pasta, homemade pasta especially, cooks very, very quickly. So what we're going to do is take all of our noodles that we have cut and covered in flour so they're not sticking to each other, and quickly toss them in the pot and then give it a stir. You want to stir it up pretty fast. Don't stir it like really hard, just give it a stir so the noodles aren't sticking to the sides or to each other or anything like that, just so they can free roam in the pot of water. Alright, so now they are done and strained, I'm going to transfer them, or some of them, there we go, onto a nice serving plate. There we go. Alright, so the noodles are done, they're on the plate. Time to finish up our cream sauce real quick. So we're going to put in about a quarter cup or a hefty handful, whatever you prefer. And this is mozzarella style shreds by Daya. So hefty handful, or a quarter cup, or a half a cup. If you're really a cheese fan, it shouldn't matter. I'm also going to put a nice handful of spinach leaves in here at this time and get them to all cook down. Alright, so I'm also going to use the same pot that I just boiled all that water for pasta in, and I'm going to put it back on the stove. I'm going to fill it up with a couple inches, 3 inches of water. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt and 3 capfuls of vinegar. Or, yeah. Obviously, you all know me by now, I'm not a great measurer. And over here, just keep stirring your sauce until everything mixes together. That cheese may take a little bit of working in just because it's not actual mozzarella. So sometimes it takes a little bit to make it look like it's actually mixed in to the sauce. But everything's looking up pretty good. I think I might add a little bit more spinach now that it's starting to wilt down in there. That's the trick with spinach, is you never know how much you have until it's wilted. Put another handful in there and we'll just let that wilt down. So hopefully you guys can see at this point that it is just barely bubbling at the bottom, which is good. That's where we want it. So we don't want it rolling boil. We just want it a little bit bubbling. We want it hot. And we're going to create a whirlpool in there with a chopstick. So get it going nice and fast in there. Hopefully you guys can see the steam. Not the best thing to shoot through, but we are going. And then pretty quick after that we can dip that egg in there. And just let him be. The trick is to trust the egg and to not touch it, because it will cook itself. Okay, let's talk cream sauce. While our egg is poaching, we can scoop the cream sauce over top of our noodles. Make sure to get plenty of that spinach and the mushrooms in there. And here's our egg. We're just going to put our egg, oh no! Nestle our egg right on top there. So here it is. It looks beautiful, and I'm so excited to share this recipe with you today. Let's take a taste. Noodle, mushroom, piece of spinach. We'll dip it in that egg because that turned out beautiful. Oh, that is amazing. That is seriously an amazing recipe, and I am talking to you all while chewing. I'm sorry. I am so happy I got to share this with you guys today. This turned out amazing. I can't wait to hear if you guys try it. Please try it. It is worth all the cooking that you just did, or I just did, that you watched. But I really hope that you guys try this recipe and enjoy it and love it. And if you know of a way to make things go easier, drop it in the comments below. If you have a tip or a trick you'd like to share, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you all. So without further ado, I will see you all next time. Bye!